welcome to Podcast from the Pit. I'm Eric, and with me, as always, is the great and powerful Casey. And then also with us is the ever powerful Atom Bomb Customs. And then with our super duper special guest, Brian Hickey. Welcome, y'all.
Great to be here.
That's awesome.
I am pumped. I am fired up. This is going to be fun. Going to be learning about the true origin of Cobra today.
Yeah. This is gonna be fun because I love shows where I actually learn something.
Yes.
And anybody knows me knows I'm a big fan of the bad guys. I love,
yes.
Red Shadows are up there.
The Red Shadows, after learning about them, for me, that is how Cobra don't hold a candle to them. Cobra Commander needs to amp up his ruthlessness about 1,000.
Now, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Iron Blood turn into Cobra Commander?
That is exactly what happens in the Action Force mythology. And it's split fandom. So all us guys that kind of grew up with Action Force in the 80s, there's a big split between who prefers, the Cobra era or the Red Shadows era. So, I'm looking forward to kind of really getting into that and into that history and how all that kind of came about.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think we got a lot to learn today. So what we'll do, and I know Adam's got a lot of questions written down. It was a no-brainer to get Adam on today.
Yeah.
And they're not really questions, they're just like facts, just to keep myself right when I'm talking about it, because my memory's not the best. So.
Yeah.
Same. And I never knew what to ask, so I'm just here for the learning curve.
Yeah. This is our favorite kind of episode. We don't have to do hardly anything. You guys talk.
Yeah.
But we want to go through what we picked up this week real quick. Hillbilly, you want to go first, or you want me to go first? Okay,
you go first. Okay.
All right. I'll go first.
So, go ahead.
In Big End.
Yep.
I got an eBay find. I got Blade from the classics.
Nice.
Got a good deal on him because he's got a little. I'm going to take him out anyway. I don't care. So that's awesome. And I got the new release of Blast Attack.
Ooh.
I never had him as a kid, so I'm excited to blow him up. It's going to be fun.
I never knew about him as a kid.
Okay. And finally got my first Operation Recall figure.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
It looks pretty good. I'm going to open them later, but it's kind of funny. He was shipped in 2 boxes, and I thought, wow, look at that bend.
Good grief.
I'm going to open them anyway, so it doesn't hurt my feelings. It was just surprising because it was packed fantastic. So that's just act of God or something. I don't know. I think he knew I was going to open them anyway.
Yeah. So,
you ready?
Yeah, oh yeah, I got a lot here. So, Mr. Collector Pete, he sent me a couple Marauder Task Force figures. He sent me a Flint, which is amazing. Flint is the best.
That's super.
And
then
next to he sent me this guy.
I love that rifle.
Oh yeah, big old 50 BMG. And then my postmaster called me yesterday. He said, "Hey, my wife has sent you something." So I had to go down to the post office and
excellent.
Well, it gets better.
Nice.
Oh,
there's more.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Brilliant.
And this one.
Oh, geez, they do get better. Wow.
Yeah. So the only one I'm missing out of it is the most evil Joe of all, the one that surrenders to every Televiper he sees, Duke. But that's all I've got, I believe. But that made a pretty good week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Campbell says that is cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Campbell.
Adam, you ready?
Yes, so I'll try and get through this quite quick. I got a really nice care package from our friend Ronnie. Get well soon, Ronnie. Got these two right here. I know this is your favourite, Casey. So we got those two. This is an absolute belter. It's a crossover.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's
Techno
pretty
Viper
cool.
with a Stormtrooper helmet. Very nice. And keeping with the theme of the show, let's get some Red Shadow action. First, we've got some Red Shadow Jinxes.
That's pretty cool.
brilliant.
We've got like a Dark Shadow Commander.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The Necro Commander.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
There. And I'm sure you've all seen the Lady J Toys
Uh-huh.
shadows.
Yeah.
So we just had to get some of them.
Oh,
I really like those.
brilliant.
Yeah.
And last but not least, I want to give a special shout out to Alpha One Creative, who helped me make me as a
awesome.
G.I. Joe.
That is so cool.
Alpha's awesome.
He is amazing.
Where's your kilt?
I need to do the legs better. I need to get like flesh-coloured legs and proper boots, because it doesn't look. A Scotsman doesn't wear anything under his kilt. You can't put like proper bottoms. So he did make me a really nice fabric kilt. I'm working on the legs just now, but that's what I've got.
Very
there we
cool.
have it.
That is so cool.
Wow.
Let's see what Brian's got.
Some great stuff. Well, here's what I got. I've got. I always wanted to get Snowcat.
Oh, nice.
Never had one of those, and I always thought that was such a great vehicle. You know, even though it's kind of associated with the snow, it's. I mean, it's a great half track. I imagine it could work in any terrain, and this is the Action Force, the Hasbro Action Force version, which would have come out in the late '80s. So really chuffed with that.
It's got the windshield wiper.
Yeah, the clip on the rocket launcher is busted, you know, but its display is great.
Oh yeah.
Then I've got some. I don't usually collect 6-inch, but I got some of these Skeletron 6-inch figures. I've got Jar Wolf and the Jungle Wolf Trooper.
Yeah,
I mean, they
those
really
are
are
They're really
stunning,
cool.
you know, and the posability you can get with the, you know, with the 6-inch figures is incredible. The amount of accessories that come with them, I mean, they're super. I've got the Wolf Trooper as well, and I managed to get their pilot accessory set too. So I've got up there. I've got the Blood Wolf and Red Weasel up there as well.
Yeah.
And then the most recent thing that came in just earlier this week is an original Palitoy Action Force Space Force engineer. Yeah. So I have a couple of these guys without their accessories. So to get one with the visor and with the tool attachments is really chuffed with that.
Mine just has the visor. I don't have the attachments. That's pretty cool.
And that's
awesome.
pretty much all I got.
Amazing.
All right.
I see some Robo Skulls in the back. I'm jealous.
So jealous.
Those
And
are
there's a
awesome.
picture in there too.
There's a, what is it?
I've got a vintage Robo Skull as well.
Oh, man.
Take it out. Yeah, so this is the vintage Robo Skull.
I remember.
Those are so cool.
It's it really is it's an incredible vehicle. I would argue it's probably one of the best toys ever made. But it's and and this mine's in pretty good nick, so I'm pretty happy with it. The wing mechanism still works, kind of.
I think those were ahead of their time for sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, let's say hi to the chat, then we'll roll into the topic because it's so cool.
Yeah.
Larry, good
Larry.
morning.
Hey, Larry, hope all's well on your end of the planet.
Good morning, Paul.
Morning.
Matthew Comstock, good morning.
Morning, Matthew.
Todd, good morning.
Good morning.
Yorktown Joe, good
Yorktown.
morning.
Day.
Oh, here we go. One in Toys, good morning.
Good morning, One and Toys.
Morning.
Hey, the legend, Foot 1212.
Oh, the Foot 1212.
The Foot.
Yes, sir.
The Foot.
Michael Gene
Michael.
Fleming.
Hey, Michael.
Hey,
Off course, good
Of
morning.
course.
one of
Ahoy Wreck Ship.
the ahoy, me
Ahoy,
baby.
sir.
Campbell, good morning.
Campbell.
One of the
Or
absolute
evening.
nicest
What is it?
people. Probably
Yeah.
night.
What time is it, Campbell? I know it's going to be rough. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming.
Probably 2:00 in the morning there.
Mm.
GI Jokers, good
G.I.
morning.
Jokers.
Hey, jokers.
Gaz, good
Gaz.
morning.
Good morning, guys.
Afternoon.
Heard-
Good morning.
Good evening.
Mudhorn, good morning. Oh, here we go. Joe A-Rod, good morning.
Hey, Joe.
Hey.
Morning.
I'll be hanging out with Joe A-Rod in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Solo con.
Yeah.
Joe Fan 84, good morning.
Hey, Joe fan.
Had a lot of talking back and forth. I love that.
That's always a good laugh in the chat.
Always. Sometimes it's hard for me to focus on the show because the chat's so entertaining. Hey, good morning, Phil.
Hey.
Morning. Domo arigato, Phil.
Well, that's lots of people up early today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always get a pretty decent live show going. I mean, I'm saying the chat's always flowing. It's always fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's way more entertaining than us. So
Good thing
All
I
right.
can't see the chat or I'd get lost watching it.
he'd be like, squirrel.
Butterfly.
All right, so full disclosure, everybody. I messed up and I didn't get the slideshow put together. That's my bad.
Well, that's my fault. I will take the full blame on that.
Let's just say it was a podcast on a pit fail because there were some great pictures on there, which I
Yeah,
currently
I was
have
looking
now.
at
So that's awesome. So, how do you want to start, Brian? What do you want to talk about first?
Well, you know, if we're going to dive into Action Force, we may as well go right back to the beginning. And
Sure.
I'm very lucky that I've had a chance to work with a chap called Bob Breakin. And Bob is, you know, for anyone who's not familiar with Bob, he would have worked at Palatoy. He joined Palatoy in 1967 and worked right through till 84 when they closed down the design department. And Bob, the first brand he worked on was Action Man, and Action Man, as you guys all know, is the 12-inch G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Palatoy, back in 1965, they'd heard about this amazing toy that Hasbro had put out. They went over to the toy fair in 65 with the intention of getting a deal to license G.I. Joe and to bring it to the UK. They already had a hit in the girls' toys with different dolls like Tressie and Tiny Tears. So they were used to that kind of model of, you know, the razor and the blades. You know, you sell the action figure, and then you follow up by selling the accessories and the outfits. So it looked like it would be, you know, a really good fit for what Palatoy were doing at that time. And when they released G.I. Joe as Action Man, it came out in 1966. So this year is the 60th anniversary of Action Man making its debut in the UK. at first they just released the Hasbro product. They just repackaged it and rebranded it as Action Man, but it was essentially G.I. Joe. I think they might have changed the dog tags to say Action Man instead of G.I. Joe on the dog tags, but other than that, it was pretty much what Hasbro had. But after that first year, they began to innovate and create their own accessories, their own uniforms. And you're saying, well, what has any of this got to do with Action Force? But Action Force was ultimately born out of Action Man. So by the time you get to, say the time of, the end of the 1970s, very beginning of the 1980s, Palitoy could see that the market was moving towards, or not moving away from 12-inch to 4-inch, but just that because Action Man was still really popular, like going into the early 80s, it was still their number one toy. But they could see there was a huge demand also for this kind of 4-inch scale action figure. So they started to take a look to see, well, what could we do in the 4-inch space? And they initially looked at some concepts of creating something maybe like in the space fantasy genre, or, near future, kind of future war, military type look, kind of inspired by Star Wars and what was happening there. But the brand manager for Action Man at the time, a guy called Mike Taylor, just said, look, let's just copy Action Man. Let's scale Action Man down to 4 inches, and we'll just pick our top selling uniforms. So uniforms like say the SAS, the British Marine, the British Paratrooper, the German Stormtrooper, these were all like top sellers for Action Man at the time. So they decided to create a range of figures inspired by that, and they released, I'm blanking now on the exact number of figures to release, but they started with 12, and then they did a second wave, and we know there was plans to do a third wave of these kind of generic military figures, but that third wave never happened, because before Action Force even hit the shelves, there was a change in management, and a new brand manager came on board, a guy called Andy Lowe. And Andy Lowe didn't have any of the preconceptions that Mike Taylor would have had. Andy was a younger guy, new ideas, new blood in the company. And Andy had just been over at the Toy Fair in New York in 1982. And he saw what Hasbro were doing with G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero. And he liked the market proposition, the idea that they weren't just generic military men, that they had a mythology, they had a universe. These were characters with their own names and their own backstories. And he said, we need this for Action Force. Even though there are our designs, we have to somehow work out kind of our own sort of story and mythology in here. And he loved the idea of a comic tie-in as well, to be able to sell the figures. In the case of like Britain and Ireland, the comics were out weekly, so it's week after week after week. They'd be constantly advertising the figures. So he loved this model that Hasbro were proposing for G.I. Joe Real American Hero. He wanted to see, how can we do this for this new toy line that we haven't even released yet? So before Action Force even hit the shelves, it was released in August 1982, the toys. Mm-hmm. They were already making plans to see how they could completely reinvent the brand, but they had to work fast. And because this new toy line wasn't tested at market yet, they had to keep the cost down. So working with their existing tooling, they created a whole series of new figures, and then to expand the vehicle offering, they retooled the vehicles that they were developing for Series 1 internally, but they also reached back out to Hasbro. Remember, they had this great licensing deal with Hasbro for 12-inch G.I. Joe, which they were still selling and still paying royalties on at this time. So they leaned into that deal and they said, look, let's also license the molds for Real American Hero vehicles. And they brought nearly all of that kind of first wave of Real American Hero vehicles into the Action Force line in different colorways. And then by the end of 82, the original version of Action Force, which us as fans call Action Force Series 1, which is your generic military men, that had been a huge hit at market. It even outsold Star Wars. And Action Force was only on shelves for like less than half a year. And it knocked Star Wars off the top, albeit briefly. And then when so it gave them a lot more confidence for what they were going to do then with this new reimagined kind of story or fantasy-based action force. And go ahead, Eric.
I'm sorry. I'm enjoying this, but I have a question. How do you think it would have turned out if they would have stayed on the original trajectory instead of integrating the new storyline and stuff?
I think
it's already a hit.
I think it would have faded out. I think it would have been spiked and then dropped. And the reason why I say that is that in the spring of '82, Britain was involved in a war, the Falklands War, and it got a lot of TV coverage and news coverage at that time. And they were Britain was victorious. They won the war, and when those troops came back, they were heroes. And you had regiments like the Marines, British Marines, the British paratroopers, and the SAS. All those regiments served in the Falklands War. And just by coincidence, Palatoy had made all those figures. Yeah. So they were an instant hit. Like it's just the cards aligned, and the stars aligned, and it's Palatoy couldn't have. They just couldn't have planned for that type of coincidence to happen, and that was a big driver. But if they hadn't have had the comic tie-in, and if they hadn't have reinvented Action Force, they wouldn't have created the Red Shadows, which I certainly one of the greatest villain factions ever created, in my opinion.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it would have had the longevity. And the irony is that they were planning to go to expand the Red Shadows way into the future. Beyond 1985, they had great plans to keep Baron Ironblood, keep the Red Shadows, and grow those forces. But because the design department were let go because of changes within the General Mills toy group, nothing to do with profits or anything like that. They killed that original idea completely, and they replaced it with Hasbro's product entirely, which was still great for us because we were getting Hasbro G.I. Joes, Real American Hero figures as Action Force in over here, which is still fantastic. But the comic writers, a guy called Jerry Finley Day, had to retcon how they were going to introduce this new bad guy. And the idea that Baron Ironblood became Cobra Commander is I'm crediting Jerry Finley Day, and for people who don't know, Jerry is our version of Larry Hama over here.
Okay.
So that's kind of the whirlwind history. So I suppose we can dive into bits of that and take that out.
That's pretty amazing. I would love to have seen the Red Shadows grow, because wait, Mike. The more I learn about them, the more I like them better than Cobra.
Fanatics.
Yeah,
they'd kill themselves if they had to.
Yeah, our Cobra Commander was a lot more sinister as well than the G.I. Joe Cobra Commander. Just because of Baron Ironblood's background.
I was going to say, maybe not now with the Energon. He's pretty... He's pretty out there.
They were kidnapping kids and brainwashing them and trying to make a master race out of them and stuff. That was like insane what they were doing then.
He brainwashed everybody, right? Black Major was brainwashed the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on the third book of those battle action.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm on the third one. It's so good.
Oh, great. Well, when the designers at Palatoy were coming up with the idea for Baron Ironblood, Bob Breakin was thinking, well, Bob is a big science fiction fan, and he said that publicly loads of times. He's a huge sci-fi fan, and he wanted to kind of make Baron Ironblood to be some kind of like a brilliant scientist, and I think part of the brainwashing kind of element of in terms of the Red Shadow recruitment, it says in their file cards there, the dregs of the underworld that are tempted by riches, but then brainwashed into being these kind of fanatics that will give their lives for the Baron. So you've got this kind of mad scientist type character, but there was kind of in the comics universe, he's more like a warlord. So you have these two different aspects, one which came from Palatoy of the mad scientist, and then the comics are pushing the warlord element, and then you get this kind of hybrid sort of characterization, which makes him even more interesting as a bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to meet Bob 2 years ago, I think, at Joe Fest.
Yes.
And I mean, I didn't know what to say to him. He's just a legend. But he come over, I'm at the bar, sitting at a table eating lunch, me and my buddy Matt. And he just come up, sat down, start talking to us. And I was just like, oh my God.
Awesome.
Bob Ricken. This is awesome.
Yeah. He's
super nice. He's super nice.
He's a lovely guy. And like, I actually got to meet Bob for the first time at a convention. It was back in maybe 2014. At a roll call. That's an Action Force Transformers convention in the UK, and I was at that. Was in Southampton at the time, and I mean, I'd never met Bob. I only kind of knew a little bit about him, and he was at the bar waiting to get an order in for a pint. So I came up and I offered to buy his pint for him, and we got chatting, and that was it. Like, we didn't really stay in touch, after that. I thought that was great. I got to great to buy him a pint and say thank you for all the great toys that he created. But it was years later when I was working on this book, Total Action Force: The Battle Years, which is kind of a history of the Action Force toy line. I reached out to Bob to see would he do an interview, and he was brilliant. He did a great interview, and that interview is printed in this book, and he talks a lot about the Robo Skull and Action Force and Action Man and how it inspired it. But maybe about 18 months after that, Bob was like, he'd written his own book all about the history of Palatoy, and he'd gone around all the major publishers in Britain to see if anyone would take it on, and they all turned him down. So he reached out to me to see if I had any ideas, and then I said, well, look, what if we do like what we did with this book? Why don't we take it to Kickstarter and see, can we do it that way? And we did, and it was funded, and this book came out at the end of 2023, My Palatoy Story, and Bob had a few copies of this, I believe, at Joe Fest that he was signing for people. And this is the full history of Palatoy as written by Bob Breakin, researched over about 10 years, and this book is now out of print. But it's superb. It's 10 years of Bob's life went into researching that, but it is coming back in a second edition format.
Good.
Which will be on Kickstarter later this year, or at the end of February, in fact, and it'll have additional content in the second edition, all about Action Man, to tie in with Action Man's 60th anniversary.
Well, it looks like I'm going to have to break my no Kickstarter rule.
Yep.
I've been off Kickstarters for a while, but I'm going to have to get that.
Yeah. That'll be the second Kickstarter I'd ever sponsor.
Oh, wow.
I think I just did too many at one time, and I haven't hardly got any of it yet. So I'm kind of like,
I'm waiting to see if Delta 17 does a Kickstarter on their Hind helicopter.
I will do that.
Yeah.
I will do that.
If they do,
I'll be going in for that.
Yes. And then this book, I might. When will that go up, or do you know yet?
The plan, there's an Action Man convention happening at the very end of February, and I'll just check the date here. I mean, it's right at the end on the February. I think it's going to be the 28th of February. I think it is, and it'll go live. Bob, the plan is that Bob will, flick it live at the convention, and I imagine it'll run for 30 days. and it'll be for a soft cover edition of the book this time round. So it'll bring the price point down for because this was a pretty niche kind of high end collectible piece that was like €95 at the time when we were selling it, so like about $100. Whereas this will be much more in the kind of trade paperback kind of price range. So it should be a lot more affordable for folks.
Nice.
Good. That'll be easier for me.
Yeah.
And it should be lighter, so it'll bring the shipping prices down too.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Will you by chance have copies of them at Joe Fest?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if we'll have it ready in time for Joe Fest. I wouldn't rule it out, but assuming the Kickstarter funds, it could happen, because a lot of the design work is done already, because it's a reprint. So it's all these pages are designed. It's only the new pages that have to be created. So it's not like it needs, months and months and months of production time. But it comes down to the lead times with the printers. So if we can get it off the press quick enough, then then it's really likely that we could have something in time for Joe Fest. But I'd hate to promise it now.
Right.
But what I do know is, if I didn't have stock in time for Joe Fest, Skeletron, the guys at Skeletron, they do have a very small amount of these books, and they will bring them to their events, and they'll be at ZolaCon at the end of Feb, and they'll very likely be back at Joe Fest again this year. So if the trade version isn't out, the hardback will be at the Skeletron stand for anyone who really can't wait and has to get their hands on it.
Okay. So
Cool.
in Action Force,
Oh,
who
yeah.
is your absolute favorite character?
Wow. Well, that has changed over the years. As a kid, the Z Force captain, Grant Campbell, he was my absolute favorite character. And he's he's kind of like the Duke of the G.I. Joe universe.
Oh man.
He's just the classic kind of hero type character, and he's a great tactician. But I think now I'm kind of leaning more towards the bad guys. They're a lot more interesting.
Yes.
So I love the Black Major as a character. He's, for people who don't know, he was a member of Action Force. And he was captured by the Baron and then brainwashed into being, his kind of chief lieutenant. And it sounds like a tragedy the way I'm describing it there, but when you read his kind of backstory, it's the story of a bad guy who just gets badder and badder and badder, and he's a really unlikable character. So by the time that he is eventually captured and brainwashed, you're not feeling any kind of sympathy for him. He's just become really, really evil. So ultimately, you're kind of half wondering, is he really brainwashed, or is he just doing what he always wanted to do anyway?
Right.
So I like him because he's an interesting character. Rereading the comics that are in the Treasury editions, I always liked Stakeout. Again, like reading it now as a grown-up, kind of going back, Stakeout's this kind of guy from Liverpool, and he's got this wicked sense of humor, and he always manages to, rub people up the wrong way with his inappropriate jokes. You got to love that. We all know somebody like that in real life, so he's a great guy too.
My favorite would have to be the Kraken.
Oh, love the Kraken.
Just the whole story behind it, getting found in ice and then clothing them to be this like aquatic force in the water. Just still looks good. Even if you see one now, he still looks good.
Yeah.
The
Kraken is a great character, great figure, great action figure, and a great character. And that story in the comics, I mean, if it's that crosses over into the horror genre, the way they're created in this lab, that whole process of trying to tame the Kraken, and then how they're unleashed on Action Force. Like that is, yeah. A guy called James Tomlinson wrote that story.
All right.
And James, he's one of the three Action Force writers. Yeah, Jerry Finley-Day was the main writer. James Tomlinson was this kind of the new kid on the block, and Scott Goodall was another veteran writer. And those three guys pretty much wrote everything in those kind of first, say 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But James Tomlinson, he wasn't afraid to kind of get into that kind of horror science fiction kind of genre, whereas Scott Goodall and Jerry, they were both like former military veterans, so they kept it very much grounded in kind of real world military in their storytelling, and Jerry had a particular focus for special forces in his kind of key influences. So so James's stories are always a little bit more out there, and Codename Kraken is definitely one of those.
Yeah, Kraken's cool. I love Skeletron too.
Yeah.
I actually picked up both of those at Joe Fest last year.
I think I can see one right behind you there, just above your head on the shelf.
Yeah.
The Red Wolf as well. He was a really nice looking figure as well, and the Muton.
Oh yeah.
All the villains, man. All the villains.
Yeah. Well, in part of the plans for 85, with before the design department was closed down, they were going to completely redesign the Red Shadow, and I've seen the drawings for what they were proposing, and it's amazing what they were going to do. Really is awesome, and Muton was also going to get a makeover, and to be definitely more robotic like.
Yeah, because he just kind of looks like a deep sea diver.
Yeah. They took the deep sea diver, and in fact, we could show that off here. So,
cool.
We have so that is the Action Force deep sea diver. So it made his debut in Action Force Series 1, so the original kind of generic lineup with different colors, and then he was re-released as part of Series 2, this kind of fantasy-based Action Force, as the leader of Q Force, codename Leviathan. But at the same time, they used the tooling to also create this guy. So you can see it's pretty novel what they did. I think it's at first glance it doesn't look exactly the same.
No, that's retooling at its best right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then this little feature here, which I love, the visor, with the targeting sights on it. It's
really cool.
Great.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Muton didn't come with any weapons, did he?
No, his weapons is literally the cannon on the side of his helmet there.
Okay.
And so there's no extra accessories in the pack.
I picked up a Muton at Joe Fest last year, and I picked up a Kraken. My Kraken's not complete, but now I know that my Muton is. Man, I seen him. I was like, ooh. And I grabbed him and pushed down a little kid and like shoved him out of the way. And I was like, Brian will be so proud of me.
For sure. Yeah, get those kids out of the way.
Yeah,
right.
I was like,
These are
boys are grown-ups, yeah.
I was like, move, you little pot licker.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was wanting to get a complete Kraken. I will probably do that this year, but it was a little over my range. I was like, I don't know about this. And so I got an incomplete one, and I was like, ooh, he is so cool. And so you've probably seen that Hasbro released the Hydro Viper for Classified come out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They missed the mark right there. They could have made that their Kraken.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That
for
would
sure.
have been so cool. And the removable helmet, I'm like, no, that needs to be his nugget. That needs to be his head and his actual face. I'm a fan of the Kraken. I mean, he's
there's a
literally
lot of
Kraken
tooling there that they could reuse. All they need is a new head and a different kind of colorway, and a couple of new accessories.
I
friend
was
of
thinking
mine,
of using, is it Bosk, the reptilian bounty hunter from
Yeah.
Star Wars? You could use his head to make, if you were wanting to do like a customized one, you could use his head
Yeah.
for it.
a
Boss
friend of
could be
mine,
great.
Alpha One Creations, he did a custom Kraken,
Yeah,
and it looks amazing.
think of it.
Hey, Spoon Killer.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Maybe. You never know.
Yeah.
And anything's possible. You know,
Yeah.
it's like we know that the GI Joe Collectors Club, they certainly, mined the Palatoy archives to bring some of their figures when they were doing their collectors series figures, or it was the subscription series figures. So we definitely got Skip released as part of that wave. We got Red Laser was released.
Mm,
I want to say we got Jammer as well. I could be wrong on that one.
yeah. I was going to talk about him.
I'm not sure
Just
about
some-
Jammer.
Jammer was our Stalker.
Okay.
Stalker was our Snake Eyes.
Yeah. And
Sergeant
I was-
Slammer was Sergeant Slaughter. And I'm pretty sure Quarrel was Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Scarlet, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
looking
that's
through your
those. When we were talking there earlier about Palatoy wanting to take the Hasbro vehicles so that they could expand quickly the Action Force line
Mhm.
before it had even been released. One of the things they found was that when they brought the Hasbro vehicles over, the Action Force figures couldn't fit in them. So if you try putting two Action Force figures, with their straight legs, try putting them in your Vamp, and you can get them in there, but you're going to have to really kind of squeeze them in, like they don't go in easy. So what they did was they said, well, we're going to have to take some figures as well to have them as vehicle drivers.
Mm-hmm.
So the tank, the Mobat came over as the battle tank. So we had Steeler, just came with that. He was the pilot anyway. He just got his colors redone so that he looked more in line with the other members of the Z-Force team. They took the Ram, came over as well. I think they call that I want to say the rapid fire motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And Scarlet got recolored in Z-Force colors and was called Quarrel. So they created a character Quarrel to, that was to be the vehicle driver for the Ram.
Yeah.
The
hyena as well. I was going to say the hyena with Red Jackal.
Yeah.
But our Destro, he wasn't Scottish. He was like, I think he was like Latvian or something.
That's right. He was Latvian.
Cyborg. Yeah.
And that's another great character of, someone who you wouldn't call him a bad guy necessarily, but he was a member of Action Force who didn't really play by the rules. And one day it kind of backfires on him and he's nearly killed in a Red Shadow attack. And instead of kind of leaving him there to die, they take him away and they essentially have to rebuild him like the Bionic Man because he's so badly injured. And he's also brainwashed in the process. And what he becomes is this character called Red Jackal, which is a cyborg, as opposed to a guy in a mask. And he's just, after that, all he is a ruthless killer. He's not an arms dealer. He's not like a mastermind or anything like that, like a puppet master pulling strings. He's just like a gun. You point him at a target, you let him go, and he just destroys everything in his path.
Yeah. And then the way he crosses over to become Destro in the comic, and he gets the acid, he gets thrown in, and he goes to say destroy, but he doesn't get it out. And it's just Destro. And that's when Cobra Commander calls him Destro after that.
Yeah, and he's really just like a whipping boy for Cobra Commander. So when Baron, but let's give a bit of context for Baron Ironblood becoming Cobra Commander. Yeah. He's you have to remember Baron Ironblood. He's a mad scientist. He is insane, and that kind of crazy side of his character like really comes across in the comics. And at the point where he decides to switch over, he launches this kind of series of terrorist attacks to hold the United Nations to ransom. And he has all these high-profile hostages around the world. The United Nations agree to the terms to pay the ransom, which is some crazy amount of money. And then he kills all the hostages anyway. And then he goes into hiding. And when he's in hiding, he decides it's time to reinvent himself and his organization. So he betrays the Red Shadows. He leaks the locations of all the secret Red Shadow bases all over the globe. And then in kind of like a Night of the Long Knives type counter strike, Action Force hit all these bases all at once around the different teams, attack these different bases. The Red Shadows organization is destroyed overnight, but Baron Ironblood is now reinvented himself. He's hiding out in Southeast Asia. He reinvents himself as Cobra Commander, and it's Red Jackal is the only guy to survive the raids. And he goes on he gets evidence of where Baron Ironblood has fled to. He goes to hunt him down, and just as he's about to get his revenge, as Adam says, he gets he walks into a trap essentially and gets sprayed in the face with acid, and he just becomes the whipping boy for Cobra Commander for the rest of the comic series. So he's he's kind of a pathetic character.
I love that. I like our Destro, but your Destro, and then your Baron Ironblood's so much better than our Cobra Commander was. I'm so jealous because at the end of every episode is, I'll get you next time, G.I. Joe. Your Baron Ironblood was like, there's not going to be a next time, Jack. I want to take you out now.
Our Cobra Commander as well had a ring with a spike in it that had like Cobra Venom in it, so you could take people out.
Who was the betrayal? So, Baron Ironblood betrayed the Red Shadows, and then he and then reinvented himself. But in the comics, it's actually really great how you see Cobra Commander decides to build up Cobra from the ground up. So the only person working with him at the very beginning is this new Red Jackal, or now Destro as he's known. They bring on Major Blood and Storm Shadow come in first, and Firefly, and they very slowly start to build up the organization. And in the storytelling, it's a very different tactics to how the Red Shadows behaved. The Red Shadows would use a lot of kind of swarm tactics. They'd have like big forces, big armies, kind of lots of big battles, whereas Cobra would use smaller kind of squads to kind of try and disrupt the balance of power around the globe. There's a lot more sinister how they're kind of written by Jerry Finley Day. He treats them more like kind of small terrorist cells as opposed to a big army.
It's like guerrilla warfare sort of, isn't it?
And there's lots of kind of guerrilla warfare and things like that, or attempted assassinations. But they're leaning more into they're trying to integrate the G.I. Joe characters in as well. So on the shop shelves, you could still buy Z-Force, you could still buy SAS Force, but now you also had, this was all overstock that Palitoy still had and had to shift, but now they were bringing in, Duke, Scarlet, Gung Ho, Stalker, Ripcord, Airborne. They were all starting to work into the toy line as well. So Jerry was kind of grouping together, small kind of factions. And then one of my favorite stories is River of Serpents, which is the main character that you'll all know is a guy called Cutter, and the whale, or it's just called the Action Force hovercraft, is what we called it. And Cutter has his own crew of characters that only existed in the comics; they never existed as toys. And you have that unit trying to, track down kind of a Cobra terrorist cell in China, which is a super Jerry Finley Day story.
Now, I will say 100%. Your Cobra Commander is way more ruthless than a used car salesman.
Yes.
So I
or
love
pyramid.
the origin story better.
Yes. I'm so jealous of you all.
Did when you were a kid and you had the toys, I mean, how was it playing with the 5 POA and the ones that have all the articulation? Was that jarring or was it okay? Did it
No.
not matter? As a kid, it didn't matter to me, but now
but
all I hear is articulation.
It didn't matter to me because
Yeah.
I had Star Wars as well, and they were like 5 points articulation.
Yeah.
So we kind of mix and match. The older sort of Action Force figures for me anyway, the 5 points articulation, I kind of got from like older cousins and like our friends' big brothers and things. Because that was like 82 they were out, and I was only about 16.
Yeah.
So I was really sort of around about this 85 that I really started getting into it more. Especially
Yeah. It didn't bother me at all, but I'm swear every time I see a review of something, it's all articulation. I'm like, but look at the sculpt; it's so beautiful.
Yes.
You know, but like you, Adam, like it all just fit for me. I mean, in fairness, like when I really crossed the streams with different, formats, like I had the, you'll remember these, Adam. The Airfix did the 1:32 scale kind of soldiers. You get a box, and you might have 30 kind of little miniature statues in there. I don't want to say Green Army men because these were, they were a little bit more details than the Green Army men, but essentially that's what they were. And if I needed an army for my Red Shadows, I only had one Red Shadow as a kid. So if I needed an army, it was like the German infantry, Airfix German infantry. They were the rest of the Red Shadows when I was playing. So like they zero articulation. So it all, for me, like it all just kind of fit. And I did have a couple of 12-inch action men as well, and occasionally they might somehow get roped into the play as well.
I had 1 or 2 action men, and I had the $6 million man. As well, you could look through the Bionic Eye and
I had that.
And stuff.
That's awesome.
That was like one of the coolest things I had, and I don't know whatever happened to it, but I love that Bionic Man.
That was a really cool figure.
Now I'm working on trying to get some more Action Force figures.
I'll keep an eye out for you, man.
I've got Baron Ironblood. Without the helmet.
I need the helmet.
I've got Black Major.
I might be able to sort you out with a helmet.
Very cool.
I've got that one.
Oh, that looks great.
Have the cape.
Christopher Lee one.
Oh,
is it?
Lovely.
And then
thanks, Silverback. Yeah, I was only there for an hour on Friday. They called me into work Saturday morning,
and
so I couldn't stay.
I weenied out. I didn't go because we was like getting hammered by snow.
No, it wasn't worth it.
Oh, you guys had it bad, didn't you?
Yeah, it actually snowed. We got 5 inches of snow yesterday.
Oh,
and
man.
I got called out to work last night to go shovel sidewalks at the school.
Wow.
Man. Yeah, it is miserable. It's cold. Roads are frozen over right now. It's like hot.
So just going back to one of the comments there about the Cobra Commander in the new Skybound comics. Maybe being a little bit more like the old Action Force Cobra Commander. Yeah, I think that there could be something in that. In fact, we did see that in the Action Force comics from '87, there was a character called Farouk who was part of Mars. He worked with Destro, and Farouk actually makes a cameo in I think it's the Destro, the first 5 issues of Destro. Farouk makes an appearance there, so that's a very obvious nod back to the Action Force mythology. Whereas, and certainly, just as I thought Cobra Commander in the new Skybound series was going to become boring, I read Dreadnought Wars, and all of a sudden, like, this guy's great.
I'm only
That
a
made me
couple,
fall in love
I'm only a couple into Dreadnought Wars, but it's just it blew me away, man.
Have you guys read the miniseries Cobra Commander?
Yeah.
Oh, psycho! I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But answer level 7 Toys' question here, real quick. Yes, they turned him into Cobra Commander.
Yes.
But it's a stroke of genius how Jerry Finley Day crafted that or retconned that in. Remember, the design department was gone. They'd no design department in Palatoy to develop the Red Shadows further, and all in desperation to kind of keep this brand alive, which was doing really well at retail, was just say, let's license more product from Hasbro. And they were actually bringing it over in Hasbro packaging, ripping it out of the Hasbro packaging and putting it into Action Force packaging.
Yeah.
And then putting that on the shelf.
Sorry. I've got an example of the sort of Action Force packaging there, the sort of newer one. You can see that.
Yep.
So it's basically the same as G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
The same sort of lettering, but Action Force, and it was international heroes, not a real American hero, and our catchphrase was Full Force.
Full Force, yeah.
Joe.
That's from when Hasbro took over in '87.
Yeah.
They rebranded Action Force as International Heroes, and it looked very, very similar to the G.I. Joe packaging. But Palatoy's version of Hasbro still had the Palatoy, very obvious Palatoy Action Force design with the blue and the red, washes.
My favorite phrase from all that is "Blood for the Baron."
Blood for the Baron, yeah.
Yes, I love that.
What was his catchphrase? What was his family's catchphrase? Sanguine Ferris?
Oh, Sanguine Ferris, yeah. No, I'm going to have to look that up.
Blood of Iron. Sanguine Ferris, I'm sure it was.
There's a great book that you can buy.
I definitely will be, Brian. Don't worry
Skeletron.com if you live in America. Skeletron.com, you can get these books. But
where can you get it in the UK?
And TotalToyBooks.com if you're in the UK.
Brilliant. I might send you a message after this just to get the details off you.
But we've got this. I'll try and show this spread. But we have the file on the Baron, which gives you the full backstory, which was originally published in one of the Battle Action Force annuals. But it gives you a full history on this character, and it gets into both how he ended up being a brilliant scientist, but also how he ended up being a warlord. So it brings both of those aspects together. Sanguino Ferris. Our blood is of iron. That's his family motto.
Mm-hmm. And did he not raid? Did they not raid Nazi gold reserves?
They did. They did, yeah. So that's you've got a great memory, Adam. Even though you can't remember half of that.
It was a huge part of my childhood, man. It's like my favourite faction of all time. Like anybody that follows me, I'll know that I'm always posting Red Shadow customs or something to do with them. I just think they're so cool. They're my favourite.
It's one of those great kind of accidents of toy design. Under pressure to come up with an enemy team, they were looking at, they didn't want to go like black uniforms. Like Darth Vader was the main bad guy at the time, and they didn't want to simply copy that. They wanted to do something different, but they couldn't generate any new tooling because of time and budget constraints. So they just painted up their German stormtrooper. And
so that's the original head.
Look at that! Oh
my,
that's
goodness.
Cool.
Oh, I love that with the cape as well. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So who's that?
That's an old Red Shadow. That's an OG Red Shadow head.
Okay.
On a painted Cobra. I think it's a Cobra officer's body. I painted.
I thought it might have been a different character. I'm sorry.
No.
So your Stalker is our Snake Eyes, right?
Yeah, the old version.
Okay.
The old.
So did he remove his mask any in the comic?
Yeah, well, so you have to remember this is Stalker. So this is Stalker. He was a member of SAS Force, and he's a driver. So all this is a driving mask.
Okay.
That's all that is. So when the character appeared in the comics, he doesn't have his mask on, and he's in conversation with the rest of the team. So he's not a ninja. He's got no, in terms of the actual character, it's got no semblance or resemblance to Snake Eyes. Palatoy weren't thinking about the G.I. Joe mythology. They just said, we need a driver for this. We'll take that dude. He looks cool. And we'll call him Stalker.
I love that.
So, that was the only real rationale behind it. And then when Snake Eyes did make an appearance in the comics as Snake Eyes, so this would have been from 1985 onwards, he's only in like 2 panels. He gets one story in an annual, but he has like thought bubbles where he's thinking to himself, but he doesn't have conversation with anybody.
That's brilliant.
The story in the annual is called Snake Hunt, and it's basically, you've all seen First Blood with Sylvester Stallone. It's essentially that it swap Sylvester Stallone for Snake Eyes, and the police officers swap them for Cobra, and that's exactly the story that you've got right there.
My gosh, that would be great. Well, daggone it, now I'm going to have to start trying to track down them comics.
Skeletron.com.
Yeah. I got them at Joe Fest last year. Saved on shipping.
Yeah.
If
I see them,
I'd like. Go ahead.
I was going to say I'd be tempted to get a Skeletron or a Robo Skull off of them.
Oh yeah, they really are magnificent. I won't lift them down because I have to move a lot of stuff out of the way, but they're magnificent toys. And one of the books I'm working on at the moment is Total Robo Skull, which is the complete story of both the vintage and the modern Robo Skull Mark II. And there's going to be a lot of great visuals in there that people have never seen before, related to both vehicles. And a great story, behind how those vehicles, came to be. So that book will be out. I think it's part of the actual Kickstarter, the original RoboSkull Mark II Kickstarter. It was a stretch goal. So we're in the process of finishing that up right now, and that book is going to be ready a little bit later on this year. So anyone who backed it, I can't wait for them to get that book into their hands. And I'm sure the guys at Skeletron might have a few spare copies once all the rewards are fulfilled. And if people are interested in the RoboSkull, and if you have a RoboSkull, you definitely want to get that book for sure.
If you don't have a RoboSkull, get one.
Get it anyway.
Adam Baum here said he's going to send me a vintage RoboSkull.
No, he didn't.
He ain't playing you. He ain't doing that.
No.
If I'm spending money on a RoboSkull, it's staying in my house.
There you go. Brian, I like the Tripwire remake for Action Force. Blades. But what was the Fang called?
We call it the Hawk.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the Hawk is an acronym as well. I just can't remember what the acronym is, but like the Fang, it's HWA or H.A.W. It's I can't remember what it stands for, but and I should know. I'm gonna have to. I didn't know you were going to hit me with that question.
Oh God. Listen, we are unprepared a lot, so don't worry about it. You've come with some great stories, and I'm sure we're not done yet.
Before we went live, we were talking about how the Red Shadows ended up in Larry Hama's IDW run. So I have to give credit to a guy called David Tree, and give big shout out to David Tree. I don't know if Dave watches the show, but Dave is he's based in the UK. He's a big collector. he runs the Rollout Roll Call event, and he's got his own toy shop, all the cool stuff. And he actually brought Larry Hama over as a guest to Rollout Roll Call back in, I want to say it was 2015. Not 100% sure in the year, but it was around that kind of time. Larry was there, Gary Goggles was there as well, and some of the guys from What's on Your Mind were over too. And well, and that was the only time I ever got to meet Larry, and he was a gentleman. But David and Larry got talking about the history of Action Force, and Larry was really curious about it. So Dave told him all about pretty much everything we've talked about on the show here already. Mm-hmm. And literally months after that, we saw the tease of the forthcoming cover with the Robo-Skull on it. So Larry Hama introduced the Red Shadows and the Robo-Skull into G.I. Joe. Well, into his run on G.I. Joe, because we know they made an appearance in Jet Devil's Due a few years prior. Oh, yeah. But Larry brought it in based on the conversation he had with David Tree. So David obviously got him excited about Action Force enough to say, I can work this into the storyline.
It was awesome. It's one of my favorite stories in the IDW run. It was amazing. Mm.
It's my copy is up there. There's a shelf up there. I've got all my IDW stuff up there, so it's buried in the pile.
You get a Robo-Skull. You get a Robo-Skull.
We all get Robo-Skulls.
Just going back to like the 5-point articulation figures, the sort of original ones that were based on the different sort of military units. Mm-hmm. The SAS one, I think, is really iconic with the grey hood and the black, the black gas mask. Just looks like that scene from the Iranian embassy when when they went in and sorted a few folk out. So that was always one of the guys I always had on display, and I kept him because my granddad served in the SAS, so we had a lot. And my dad always sort of bought me sort of military comics like Eagle and Commando and stuff like that. So when that SAS figure came out, he was definitely one of my favourites. I still look for something similar today. It would be amazing to have something similar in O-Ring, I think.
Yeah. But I think you're right, Adam. It was the Iranian embassy. So again, for anyone you didn't grow up in, say, Britain and Ireland, that there was a siege that happened live on TV, and the SAS were called in to essentially rescue hostages from the Iranian embassy, which was they'd all been taken hostage. Played out live on TV, and Palatoy almost immediately then said, "Oh, this is too good of an opportunity not to do something about it." And they did an Action Man uniform with the SAS kind of mask, the body armor, and that figure is one of the figures that made it into the Action Force Series 1 lineup when it came out in '82.
And there was the film Who Dares Wins as well. I don't know if you remember that.
That's right. Yeah.
That was similar.
Was it Lewis Carroll? No, what's this?
The guy from the Professionals.
Professionals, yeah.
Can't remember his name, but he was the head guy.
Yeah. I remember a little bit about the embassy. We had hostages in Iran a couple years before that. So
that's right. That would have also been big news at the time.
Yeah.
I might have a picture of it here in this book. Let's see if we can. There's a lot of pictures in this book, guys. There's
I just went through the Action Force, the battle years, trying to find the Hawk.
There you go.
Yeah,
that is that's so we licensed that image from Getty to use in the book, but that is basically what we saw play out on the TV live.
And back in the 80s, you weren't getting that sort of thing on the news. Like that was quite a big thing for the time. Seeing that.
Yeah. It was. It was. for me as a kid, it was really exciting, even though probably for the people involved, it was not exciting at all.
No.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like whenever our Marine base in Lebanon got attacked, that was big.
Yeah.
What's up, Cobweb?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, the news back then was the news. We knew what was happening. Now it's just, I don't know, it's crazy. The world's crazy now. That's why I love toys.
Yeah.
We need Action Force.
We do need Action Force. You know what? We might even need the Red Shadows.
Yeah.
Red Shadows actually makes sense.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. You know, in the Action Force comics, I don't want to. Well, I don't really want to say this, Casey, because you haven't finished reading Volume 3, so I don't want to spoil anything.
Halfway through. I got a terrible memory though, so go ahead.
I won't. I don't want to spoil this, but there are some, Red Shadow. When Baron Ironblood betrays the Red Shadows, it's not the end for the Red Shadows, because they do make it a reappearance in in say the later series of the comics. So you have this this great story. Again, it's another Jerry Finley Day. It's a brilliant story. He's got members of SAS Force are on maneuvers in South America, like a training exercise, and they encounter, when they're there, they actually encounter members of Cobra. So Major Blood is also there with Cobra troopers on a training exercise by coincidence, and they have this big kind of face-off, bit of a battle. And before they can kind of capture Major Blood, they're all attacked by these mysterious forces, and you don't realize until the next episode who those forces are, and it turns out they are Red Shadows. It's a Red Shadow remnant that had been left behind in South America when from an earlier operation, and they teamed up with Nazis, World War II Nazis, who'd been hiding out in these jungles. So you have this kind of hybrid kind of Nazi Red Shadow force. They take SAS Force and Major Blood, captive, and then Cobra and Action Force have to work together to try and escape and take down the Red Shadows. It's a crazy story, but it's one of the best stories from the later period of the comics. And again, another Jerry Finley Day masterpiece.
Nice. Want to say hi to Ken? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Ken.
So what's so interesting about that is, fast forward to present day, down in the jungles of South America, the Nazis were there in Argentina.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of paperwork or files released from Argentina that was like, Hitler was there. He never died in World War II. And I'm like, there's our Baron. Well, I'm not going to. Baron Ironblood is so much better than him. But
Sure.
yeah, I'm not going to go there. But anyhow, yeah, it's like, woo. Okay, this is cool.
I was like, where are you going with this?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think there was
okay, sorry.
I think there was evidence of a lot of like high-ranking sort of Nazi officers
Yes.
fleeing to Argentina after the war.
Yeah.
Well, Finley Day he's a great researcher in his stories. Like they're all informant research. So, without asking him directly about that story, like Death in South America, I would imagine that he had read stuff that suggested that at the very least, high-ranking Nazis had escaped to Argentina, and he was using that to inform his the ideas for the story. And of course, he would have penned the original story where there was a big Red Shadow operation in South America, and these are guys that clearly got left behind in the aftermath of that mission going south.
And I was going to ask what happened to the Red Shadows after Cobra was formed. I mean, so they just basically got left out to hang.
There's a whole kind of sub story then that happens with the Red Shadows, where some high-ranking members, actually, other than Red Jackal, did survive because they were MIA at the time that the Red Shadows were sold out by Baron Ironblood, so they weren't in any of the bases. And when they finally make it back to reality, or to the world, they only then learn what happened. And Action Force had a whole bunch of Red Shadows kind of captured in this kind of facility. They bust them out and they rebuild the Red Shadow organization, and they go on a mission to... They don't know that Baron Ironblood has become Cobra Commander. They just think he's dead. But they go on a mission to try and strike revenge on Action Force. And then it's when that mission is happening that they learn the truth of who Cobra Commander actually is. And that sets them on a path to try and get revenge on their real enemy. So you have this three-way conflict in the later series of Action Force, where you've got Action Force, Cobra, and the Red Shadows, and they're all against each other. They all hate each other, essentially.
Yeah, I love it. I could listen to this all day, honestly.
Yeah.
So if you got more to say it. I mean, I'm not going anywhere.
Well, the only thing, the last thing I'd say is that, if people are interested in the history of the Action Force toy line, particularly the design side of the toys, a Total Action Force Volume 3 is a book that's going to be coming out later this year. So it is. I don't want to say that it's necessary that it's a sequel to this book, because this book is a pretty. At the time we wrote this, it was like the definitive history of Action Force.
Mm-hmm. It is a great book.
Mm-hmm.
It's so proud of that book, and well, thank you, Eric, for saying that. But the amount of information that we were able to get access to from working with Bob Breakin after this book came out, there's so much more of the story to tell, and that's what's told in Total Action Force Volume 3. So that'll be out later this year, and people can pre-order it. If you search for that on Kickstarter, you'll find it there, and you can late pledge, which is essentially a pre-order. And then from the comic side of it, we've talked a lot about the Battle Action Force Treasury editions. And again, if people are interested in these stories and seeing these characters brought to life by some of the greatest talents of British comics at that time, head over to Skeletron.com if you live in America. Pick up your books there, or if you're on mine and Adam's side of the Atlantic, TotalToyBooks.com.
Toy books
is the best place to order. Actually, Adam, they're on Amazon's UK marketplace as well.
Oh, so brilliant! I'll just do that then.
Yeah, for the Amazon customers, they can jump in there.
Brilliant.
I can't recommend those books enough. They are awesome.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so thankful in 24, whenever I was walking through Joe Fest, this fella comes out of nowhere and clotheslines me, and then grabs me by the beard and drags me to his booth, and he slaps me in the face with this book, and he's like, "Buy this." I'm like, "Okay." Then I go to Casey. I'm like, "Dude, there's this little violent guy. No offense. In the back." I was like, "You need to go see him." And Casey's like, "Okay." And
oh wow! I
showed me the book. I had to go.
Oh wow! Because that's when I'm doing the shows, I'm standing out in front of the table, and I'm heckling everybody who walks by. I think I might have said, "Hey, I came all the way from Ireland to talk about Action Force," and that's how we started it off.
And I was like, "I'm here to learn." And I was gobsmacked. That show is just such. That was my first time there, and that is like I was in sensory overload. So you doing that kind of like sucked me out of that, and I was like, okay, pay attention here. This guy, concentrate. This guy has something to learn you. So
that's it. That was a great show. I had a really great time, and I loved that I got to meet you. I got to meet a lot of people at that show.
Yes,
which was really special. So I'm really looking forward to getting back there in 2026.
I was just afraid you and Pat didn't like put me in a doomsday device or something. Like, I was like, okay, I'll buy the book.
We did a bit of old-fashioned Baron Ironblood brainwashing. That's what it is.
Yes.
There you go.
And growing up, whenever I was a little kid, I thought brainwashing is going to be everywhere. And then I find out in the comics, it really was a thing.
Yeah.
But I was so glad you jumped out and was like, hey. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, shut up and take my money.
That's awesome.
So will you be?
Thank you.
Will you be at Joe Fest this year?
That's my plan, is to be over there.
Okay.
So I've got my hotel booked. So just need to lock in a few kind of final little details, but that is on the cards, and I've booked that out in my calendar. So looking forward to that. And I'm going to be at ZoloCon at the end of February.
Hey, I'll see you there.
Yay, Casey! I'll see you. That'd be great. So I'll be on the Skeletron stand. I'll be with the Skeletron crew. We will be promoting the Battle Action Force books. We may even have a few of these bad boys as well.
I've been thinking about that since you said
it. So definitely, come over and say hello, and I'll catch up with you after the show as well. Anyway, and if anybody watching, swing by the Skeletron stand, check out the Roboskull, check out the Battle Action Force Treasury editions, and we'll talk Red Shadows and Action Force all day.
Oh yeah,
I'm sad I will not be at ZoloCon. So you'll have to give Casey my Roboskull to bring me. So
that's what we'll have to do. Yep.
Just go ahead and pay for it. I'm sure they'll do it. I'll have two after that.
I thought he was bringing us both vintage ones.
I'll tell you what. They give us a table at Joe Fest now out in the lobby, which is awesome because we get to meet a lot of people. But we also get in early. So I got in and I dropped more money before the show started Friday night on Palatoy stuff than I did the rest of the time. I mean, I got some great figures.
Wow.
And
brilliant.
If you have any flyers you would like to hand out, feel free to put them on our table and we'll pass them out for you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. I'll definitely have some paper stuff to bring along, bookmarks and stuff like that. So yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. That's we let all our friends just drop wherever they want there. So
yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you guys.
Yep.
I mean, and if you want to drop off some Action Force figures or
we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do.
I'm teasing. I like to joke. I like to tease.
He does. People. He likes to tease.
We'll see what we can do.
So if you do bring, you'd be like, guys, I brought you a vintage Roboskull. That will be like the Royal Rumble breaking out at that booth because Casey will be trying to choke me out and.
I would not. I'd just throat punch it, grab it, and run.
I'll be laying there like.
So, Brian, you got anything else coming up that people would want to watch, or?
The books they're the big focus for me at the minute. We've got obviously, as I did say, I'm working with Bob Breakin on his second edition for My Palatoy Story. That'll be the paper version with the expanded Action Man content in there. And that Kickstarter will go live on, I think, Feb 28th. So if you do a search for My Palatoy Story on Kickstarter, you'll see a holder page. You can click the Notify Me on Launch button, and you'll get an email when that goes live.
Yeah, I think that's the version I want because I want to get the newer version.
Yeah, there's great content in there.
Yeah, that first one though, knowing it's going to be a ZoloCon it's going to be hard to pass up. But I think I want the second version. We'll see. We'll see when I get back.
Get both versions.
Can't go wrong with both, right?
The first edition for the collectors. The first edition.
That's
but,
awesome.
but it's going to be a great project to do with Bob, and he's already got the new content written, and we just have to finalize the selection of images to go with that. So we had a call actually on Thursday, myself and Bob, and we were going through some of the archival Action Man photography, where they came from. They came from Palatoy staff who gave us access to all these old, 35mm slides.
Talking Joe.
Thank you so much.
Hey.
I love Talking Joe.
So I got all these slides scanned, and I have permission to use them in future books. But they are beautiful kind of records of Palatoy history, not just for Action Man, but for all their brands that were active in the 70s and 80s.
Casey's going to be at ZoloCon, just be like making it rain.
I wish. I got to save money for Joe Fest. And in September, Mochi Fest. So it's going to be a pretty good year for Casey.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, since I got somebody from Ireland, somebody from Scotland, I guess I don't have a lot of love over here for one of my favorite shows. What's your guys' feelings on Doctor Who?
Love it.
We grew up with Doctor Who. It's it shaped our childhoods. That's why we're all so messed up over here looking at British science fiction.
I love
Tom Baker.
Tom
Tom Baker, man.
One and only, the main Doctor. Yes.
No, the third Doctor. Here's my favorite from the originals. Petrie, Purdy, Petrie. I don't know, but he's my favorite one.
Petrie. He's another brilliant Doctor. But Tom Baker is like, that's all the nostalgia is for me is with Tom Baker. He's the Doctor I grew up with.
Well, he did it so long. That's the thing. Nobody else did as long as him.
And some of the movies, the Doctor Who movies that came out, there was one scene with the Daleks just coming out of the sea.
Oh,
yeah.
Just
the
some of the
nightmares I had as a kid with Daleks and Cybermen.
The original Cybermen.
Oh, they're terrible.
But I mean, then you get to like the modern stuff, and you got the Weeping Angels. They're just frightening.
Yeah.
I tried to watch Doctor Who as a kid, and I was like, I don't get it. I did not understand it. It was just like, and Tom Baker had that like 30-mile long scarf. I was like, I don't get it. And I know Casey.
My daughter got me that for Christmas a couple years ago.
Awesome.
But I was just like, I couldn't wrap my brain around it. And then the Daleks, how do you say that? Daleks. They're always going around exterminate, and they had the plunger hands, and
That's
I'm like,
what they do.
Like, what are these things? They're like Temu R2D2s.
Evil.
Yeah. All you had to do was run up some stairs, and they couldn't get you.
That's
Well, in the modern, they fly.
They fly now?
Yes. They're even more frightening.
Oh dear.
I love that. A lot of people just like, what? You watch that? Yes.
It's interesting, but I just can't. My brain don't work like that, I guess.
No, it's a certain kind of flavor of science fiction, and I think like there's some crazy dystopian sci-fi coming out of Britain around that time. There was another show, you probably remember this, Adam, Sapphire and Steel.
Sapphire and Steel, man, yeah.
And that was nuts. If you thought Doctor Who, you couldn't get your head around that. Sapphire and Steel is crazy. I can't even tell you what it was about. But it had the guy from The Man from U.N.C.L.E., the blonde-haired guy. Mm-hmm. He was in it. And Joanna Lumley from The Avengers, she was in it. So they would have been two big TV stars at the time. So it was, but I remember watching that as a kid, and it freaked me out. And I couldn't follow it anyway. But I was kind of glued to it as well at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to check that out now. Thanks.
That and the Tales of the Unexpected, that was another crazy show. You remember that, Brian? Yeah.
The worst TV shows of our childhood now. It's more nightmare material, Tales of the Unexpected. So you've all heard of Roald Dahl, the author. this was a TV series made from some of his short stories, and they all have these kind of like twists in the tale at the end. And again, they're mostly in the kind of horror genre. Yeah, not kid stories at all. And used to stay up late and watch them, and freaked out.
Nice. Well, that's about all I got, unless you guys got anything else. What about, we call it soccer, football. You guys, I know Adam Baum. What, Celtic? Celtic's your team?
St. Johnson's my team.
Oh. Brian,
St.
you have a
Johnson.
team?
Well, I don't have a team, but I come from a family of football mad. Like they're crazy. They love football. So my dad and two of my brothers support Manchester United, and my other brother supports Liverpool.
No.
That'd be interesting.
Nobody. I don't support any, so I'm kind of the well, I support Action Force.
There you go.
Comics.
Yeah.
So I'm the black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
My dad's a huge Celtic fan, so he used to take me to the games, but St. Johnson was my local team in Perth. They're just a wee team. So
yeah. I got to see Manchester United once. It was a preseason friendly. I had to drive like 6 hours to go see them, and they got stomped by Liverpool. So, but it was still fun. I mean, I got to see my boys out there.
And I follow West Ham in England. West Ham's my English team.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like Brian. I'm the black sheep of my family. My brother is like huge into American football, and I'm like, I care less about sports.
Yeah, the toys and the comics, that was me, from a really young age. That was it.
We got Doctor Who in West Virginia. It was on PBS, like public broadcasting. And then we also had a couple British soap operas.
All right.
One took place in a store.
Open all hours?
I don't know. It was in like a department store.
Oh, I'm free.
Are you being served?
Are you being served?
Yes. And then one was like
totally inappropriate comedy.
And then one was about it, like took place during Roman times. I'm not sure what it was, but it was like it took place in Rome during like one of the Caesars or whatever. I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember.
Are you being served? Yeah, I remember a little bit of it, and I was like, I don't understand it. And then, of course, Monty Python.
Yeah, nothing yet.
Of course, so Monty Python.
Before we go, I'm trying to grow my page a wee bit. So I managed to hit 750 on Instagram.
That's
so
awesome.
This year I'm going to try and get up to 1,000. That's my aim.
Happy
so
days.
when I get to 1,000, I'm going to do a wee raffle giveaway.
Ooh, look at that.
There's a wee bit of damage on the bottom of the plastic, but Chinese destro. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to say $1 a ticket, 30 folk. That'll cover the postage to wherever it needs to get to. So when I hit 1,000,
nice.
Oh, brilliant! Brilliant.
Awesome. So I'll go ahead and buy all the tickets now.
Well, we don't have. Well, we do have a show picked out for next week. I won't tell you what it is because I want everybody here for it.
Yes. It's not going to be Doctor Who.
It's not Doctor Who.
No.
But me and Bob might do something Doctor Who soon. That would be fun.
Yes. And I would learn.
And Wednesday, we do our first evening stream. So 7 p.m. Eastern. Please, if you can, be there for that. We'll start promoting that today.
Sadly, I will not be here for that.
Just more reason for everybody else to watch.
Yep. Yep. It'll be better without me.
No.
We're
going to hold it down till summertime when Eric can be on there.
I'll be at work going, I will remember you. I'll be a PETA commercial.
But yeah, definitely ZoloCon. I'll be excited to catch up with you, Brian.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it, Casey. That's going to be great.
Yep. So everybody else out there, please be safe this weekend, and hopefully I'll see you Wednesday night. If not, see you next Saturday morning.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Y'all
Thank you,
take care
guys.
now.
Thank you so much.